from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. This is the National News Telecast. I'm Uvin Hettiarachchi.
And I'm Kasani Balachandra Adhikari. We start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
Religious or racial conflicts of any nature will not be allowed, emphasizes the President. More than 400 persons disappear in the flash floods in Nepal. 31 deaths also reported. Intermittent rains in many areas. 81,865 persons affected due to extreme dry weather. Revenue from expressways records a significant increase. The Chinese government has awarded 18 postgraduate scholarships to Sri Lankan students. Tensions flare up again in the Middle East despite the implementation of the Oman agreement. Now to those and more stories in detail on today's top story. Today is the birthday of the last prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad.
And Milad un-Nabi is a special day to the followers of Islam worldwide as well as in Sri Lanka.
Prophet Muhammad was born in 570 AD to Amina and Abdullah in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. He was a disciplined person since childhood and became Nabi at the age of 40. The Prophet, who was exemplary as a brother, father, friend and a son, was also called as-Sadiq since he won the trust of one and all, and was also called Al-Amin. The Prophet reached Medina on 622 AD and passed away at the age of 63. Accordingly, the third month or Rabi'ul Awwal of the Islamic calendar is celebrated as Milad un-Nabi, or the birthday of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, on the 12th of the month. Special religious observances were held at mosques island-wide today on the occasion.
President Anukumar Dissanayake states that the philosophy of the Holy Prophet Muhammad provides immense guidance towards realizing the vision of creating a just country and society governed by the rule of law where everyone is treated equally.
The President expressed the views in a message issued on the occasion of Milad un-Nabi celebrations.
By bridging the gap between rich and poor and securing the rights of the oppressed, the Prophet laid the foundation values of fairness and equality in society. Islam rejects all actions that pollute human inner purity as well as the moral fabric of society. Therefore, the President points out in his message that the teachings and life example of the Holy Prophet provide great strength to programs aimed at uplifting social morality, such as the national operation launched by the government against drug menace that plagues the motherland. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya states that the Prophet Muhammad preached noble messages of peace, equality, compassion and mutual respect to the entire world. The Prime Minister noted this in her message issued for the Prophet's birthday anniversary, pointing out that contemporary global society faces various political, economic and humanitarian crises with violent conflicts causing suffering and the loss of innocent human lives. The Prime Minister emphasized that Prophet's philosophy is more relevant today than ever before. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa states that the guidance of Prophet Muhammad serves as an example for peace and harmony in a multi-ethnic society. Issuing a message for the Prophet's birthday anniversary, the opposition leader called on everyone to unite to build a fair Sri Lanka where all citizens are respected regardless of race or religion.
President Anukumar Dissanayake emphasizes that religious or racial conflicts of any nature will not be allowed. The President made these remarks joining the National Milad un-Nabi festival held at Perahera Al-Hilal Central College, Negombo today. The President was given a warm welcome on arrival at the National Milad un-Nabi festival. A commemorative stamp was also issued on this occasion. Later, a book compiled on Nigambo was presented to the President.
Bilal Matiya Kaluri இடம்பெறுகின்ற සමරු මුද්දර 2026 මීලාදු නබි උත්සවයේ සමරු කලාපයේ ලබා දෙනවා.
President Andrukumar Dissanayake added that unfortunately it is observed that completely contrary to the teachings of religious leaders, when they preach peace, that very doctrine is used against peace. He noted that when they preach compassion, the same religion is utilized for hatred instead of compassion, and when humanity is preached, that very religion is sometimes used against humanity. Therefore, the President expressed his belief that an immense responsibility rests upon the religious leaders representing every faith, as well as the monks and clergy who currently carry those teachings on their shoulders. He questioned what responsibilities are now entrusted to us, accepting that is everyone's shared duty to create the good society envisioned by religious teachers, a society built on peace, loving kindness and humanity. President Dissanayake mentioned that the country has suffered from a long-standing racial conflict, resulting in generations of youth in both the north and the south passing away, being killed or losing their lives to these ethnic clashes. He pointed out that this extreme, cruel and destructive experience demonstrates that Sri Lanka must never again allow any form of racism or ethnic conflict to emerge. The President observed that everyone currently living has become a victim of these racial conflicts to a greater or lesser degree, and guaranteed that space will never again be given in Sri Lanka for any type of racial or religious conflict. President Dissanayake further expressed that the foundation of the state had been destroyed over a long period due to the harmful and destructive events in the country. He mentioned that as a government, they are making efforts and have taken responsibility to re-establish a strong foundation for the nation. Explaining what constitutes this strong foundation, he stated that the creation of national unity, which rejects racism and religious extremism, is one key pillar of rebuilding the country. President Dissanayake added his view that over the past nearly 2 years, they had laid the necessary international groundwork for Sri Lanka to regain its rightful respect and value in the world, identifying it as the most critical foundation for building the nation. He also stated that everyone must be equal before the law, noting its key importance. He mentioned that a social belief had previously existed in the country that the law was enforced only on the most marginalized, while those possessing wealth and high power remained untouched by it. The President added that there had also been a view that the law failed to apply based on certain religious beliefs or cultural backgrounds, acknowledging that it was true. The President asserted that they were convincing the public once again that the most critical foundation of rebuilding the nation was ensuring that everyone was equal before the law. He emphasized that regardless of one's religion or culture, Sri Lanka was currently setting an example by reassuring the public that equality before the law was guaranteed, which he stressed was necessary to reconstruct the country. President Dissanayake further pointed out another significant issue, stating that a terrifying monster loomed before everyone, spreading across towns and villages. He warned that this menace was swallowing school children, young adults, key public service officials and crucial police posts. He noted that examining the situation deeply painted a frightening picture for the nation and its future generations, referring specifically to the criminal underworld built around illicit drugs. The President highlighted how improper funds generated through drug networks had compromised several institutions, including the RMV, immigration, the police and the customs. He warned that if this trend continued for another decade or two, the entire state apparatus and social fabric could collapse. President Andrukumar Dissanayake affirmed that as a government, a firm decision had been made to eradicate the drug menace alongside the illegal armed organizations connected to it. Speaking on the birth anniversary of a religious leader who rejected all drugs and alcohol, he invited the public to unite to eliminate the drug network and its associated underworld from the country. The President concluded by declaring his deep trust in the power of the public, assuring that he and his government would ensure no decision or step taken by them would cause even the slightest injustice to the people of the country.
In the meantime, over 400 people are missing following sudden floods in northern Nepal, with at least 31 reported dead. The mountainous Rasua district in northern Nepal, located near Tibet border, has been the hardest hit. Severe damages to lives and property was reported after Bodhikoshi River suddenly overflowed. Nepalese report that the flash flood was likely repaired by a blizzard or a landslide. The sudden rush of water into low-lying areas caused catastrophic destruction. Among the missing are 291 foreign tourists. The flooding has also disrupted Nepal's power and water supply systems. Several members of the security forces engaged in rescue operations are also among the missing. Foreign media reports bad weather and severe conditions have rendered some areas completely inaccessible even by air. The Sri Lankan embassy in Nepal stated that there is no reports of Sri Lankans in the affected region, which lies about 100 kilometers from the capital Kathmandu. However, an embassy spokesman confirmed in response to an inquiry that they remain fully committed to assist any Sri Lankan nationals if needed.
Now, the Department of Meteorology says that intermittent showers might occur at a number of areas in the island. Nevertheless, mainly a dry weather will prevail in the rest of the island, the Met Department added. The number of persons affected by the extreme heat weather condition has now reached 81,865. Also predicted of intermittent rains in western Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces, along with Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Madura districts. Light showers might occur in Anuradhapura, Matale and Hambantota districts. Sea waves off the sea areas from Putlam to Colombo and Galle to Potuville via Mathura will reach around 2 to 2.5 meters in height, since the fishing and naval communities are requested by the Department of Meteorology to be on alert in this regard. Ponds have been created and filled with water, engaging water bowsers for the drinking water requirement of animal areas where tanks have gone dry in the Yala National Park due to the extreme weather condition these days. The government has focused attention to popularize renewable energy to maintain agriculture in the areas of the dry zone of the island. A program was held yesterday at the office of Alayapattu Agrarian Development Department, Anuradhapura, in order to raise awareness among the farming community. The farmers were enlightened on the occasion regarding the program to use solar power pumps and water sprinklers to obtain water to farmlands through renewable energy. The program was jointly organized by the Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority and the Agrarian Development Department. The Munaragala District Secretary has pointed out that Munaragala District is in full pre-preparation to confront the effects of El Nino conditions successfully, which might occur in the island in the future with the global climatic changes. Munaragala District Secretary A.G. Nishanta added that regarding the drought condition affecting the Munaragala district, the government had taken steps to meet the drinking water requirements to some extent. He expressed his belief that those efforts had been largely successful, adding that drinking water distribution was currently underway across 8 divisions. Our correspondent reports that Berivilla Malalaru Villu system has completely dried up in Madrigiriya amidst the extreme dry climatic condition. Cattle rearing activities conducted around these areas are facing difficulties due to this reason. Cattle have died sinking in mud while in search of water, according to the residents of the area. They have added that farmlands are also facing threats along with the residents of the villages, as wild elephants have started encroaching villages due to the lack of water. Acres of green gram cultivation is being destroyed at Handapanagala area in Vallavaya due to the extreme dry weather condition, the farmers added. Green gram cultivation about to be harvested have also been destroyed. The Disaster Management Centre has taken steps to implement a program to provide relief to the people affected by disasters due to the prevailing extreme dry weather condition. Director of the Disaster Management Centre Pradeep Kadukpili said that due to the dry weather conditions prevailing across several districts, the number of affected individuals had reached 81,865. He particularly informed the public in areas with such needs to connect as quickly as possible via the hotline 117. Now, people in many areas have been affected due to the influence of El Nino weather condition.
Therefore, the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation has started the Nosidina Dayava community program to provide drinking water to the affected. A group of donors handed over a stock of drinking water bottles to the corporation. They made these donations in response to an awareness campaign conducted by the national television. The national television is committed to distributing these donations to the needy people in a reasonable manner. There is still opportunity for the potential donors to hand over 5-litre drinking water bottles at the SLRC premises. The corporation requests them to contribute to this benevolent act.
My name is Dehan Karagala. I live in Ragode Road, Nurigode. My idea was to help the poor people in need during the El Nino climate. May all other people also help the poor people. Thanks to Scooty.
More stories on the other side of this break. Well, welcome back. Now, Health Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa states that the healthcare system is being transformed from an institution-centered model into a citizen-centered healthcare system. He made these remarks yesterday while attending the intake ceremony for graduates entering the pharmacist orientation and coordination training program. A total of 142 graduates were enrolled in the orientation and coordination training courses for the pharmacist position within the professional supplementary to medicine service under the Ministry of Health and Media. The ceremony was held at the Outpatient Department Auditorium of the National Hospital in Colombo. This initiative aims to strengthen human resources to further enhance the quality, efficiency and public friendliness of the health service. The 6-month orientation and coordination training program is scheduled to take place across tertiary and secondary hospitals as well as selected base hospitals. Additional secretaries of the Ministry of Health and Media along with several other officials were also present at the event.
"18 Sri Lankan postgraduate students have been awarded Chinese government scholarships for the year 2026-2027 academic year. The awards were presented on Monday at a ceremony held at the Chinese Embassy in Colombo, marking another milestone in the bilateral educational ties.
The annual scholarship initiative provides local scholars with access to advanced research facilities and international academic environment across top Chinese institutions. Currently, around 1,200 Sri Lankan students pursue higher education and vocational training in China each year under various exchange programs. The initiative continues to serve as a key driver for human capital development, with returning graduates contributing to Sri Lanka's professional, academic and technological sectors. Both nations reaffirm their commitment to further expanding educational cooperation in the coming years.
China has always considered educational exchanges as one of the cornerstones of our bilateral cooperation. Over the years, we have offered a wide range of programs, from government scholarship to vocational training programs, nurturing thousands of professionals for Sri Lanka. Currently, more than 1,200 Sri Lankan pursue studies or training in China each year. Well, the number of Chinese students in Sri Lanka is also growing steadily. Our young people are building bridges of knowledge and foster a vibrant two-way flow of cultural exchanges. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Deputy Minister and the Ministry of Education of Sri Lanka for their unwavering support for our educational partnership.
Now, a heavy traffic congestion has been created at the entrance and exit points of expressways due to the long weekend holidays. As reported, income on the expressways has also increased. Traffic congestion was cited at Pinadu entrance of the Southern Expressway. An extra exit was also facilitated for vehicles to exit due to this reason. A large crowd turned up to travel to Gaul and Mathura from Kottava Mahakumbra Multimodal Centre. A passenger queue of more than a kilometre in length could also be witnessed. Our correspondent reported that there's a heavy traffic jam on the Southern Expressway.
Minister of Justice and National Integration has initiated a program to create a joint mechanism among the state's institutions maintaining a regional coordination in case of emergency situations that rises in prison. The objective is emergency response and streamlining welfare activities of the inmates. Minister Attorney at Law Harshana Nanaikara yesterday initiated the establishment of this joint mechanism. This is based on Jaffna prison. The system is expected to be established in all prisons of the island. The minister also enlightened officials regarding the joint mechanism. The minister said that there was a security coordination issue and the shortcomings were also there in welfare activities of the inmates. Consequently, he mentioned that a committee had been established under the leadership of the president. The minister further explained that they had decided to form an integrated mechanism for every prison, a mechanism capable of responding to emergencies and intervening to issues in the inmates. The welfare is the main objective. He noted that this was a preventive measure aimed at identifying and averting issues before they arise. Finally, the ministers emphasized that the primary concern was ensuring safety, welfare and rights of the inmates housed within the facilities, adding that ensuring those aspects was a major responsibility entrusted to the mechanism itself.
Now, it has been revealed through a study conducted by a private institution that the NSBM Green University has had a unique impact on the economy of the country within a decade. The university, commenced in the year of 2016, is also the first green university in South Asia. The university, functioning on a self-financing basis, has educated nearly 41,000 students and has also created 22,855 graduates. The study has also pointed out that the university has added an accumulated value to the tune of 115.5 billion rupees to the economy of the island. 86% of graduates of the university are in permanent employment, while 74% of them are in professions related to their study areas. An estimated foreign exchange of $337.8 million have also been saved due to the higher education followed by students of the island. The study has also pointed out that around 22,000 livelihood opportunities have also come up in Homagam area where the university is located.
The book Beyond Rank, written on the life, leadership and distinguished service of the retired Major General Milinda Piris, former Vice Chancellor of Sir General Kotalavala Defence University, was launched yesterday at the General Sir John Kotalavala Defence University. Written by Kitsiri Amaratunga, the first copy of the book was presented by Major General Milinda Piris to former Army Commander General Jerry De Silva. The event was attended by Marshal of the Air Force Roshan Gunatilaka, Admiral Professor Jayantha Kolambage, Commander of the Army Lieutenant General Nilantha Premaratna, IGP Priyantha Veera Surya, KDU Chancellor Admiral Shantha Kotegoda and KDU Vice Chancellor Rear Admiral Dhammika Kumara. In addition, senior officers from the Ministry of Defence and Tri-Forces representatives and diplomatic community and numerous other distinguished guests were also in attendance.
Now, the fourth Randoli Perahera of the historic Kandy Esala festival is parading the streets now. Despite persistent rainfall, large crowds of devotees gathered along the streets of Kandy to witness the parade. The honour of carrying the sacred relic casket was granted to the Taska Vasana of the Ruhunu Mahakatragama Devalaya. The casket was placed at the auspicious time of 6:44 p.m, marking the official commencement of the fourth Randoli Perahera. Taska Vasana, flanked by the Taska Singharaja and Pulatisiraja of the Sri Danada Maligava. The procession travelled along Sri Danada Vidya, Yatinuvara Vidya, Cross Street, E.L. Senanayaka Vidya and Kanda Vidya before morning through D.S. Senanayaka Vidya and returning along Raja Vidya. Foreign news on the other side of this break.
Non-foreign news. Despite the implementation of the Oman agreement, tensions have flared up again in the Middle East following Iran's statement that the Strait of Hormuz remains closed. The Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister states that Washington must return to terms of the Memorandum of Understanding for the Strait to be fully opened. The US President Donald Trump states that all naval mines in the strait have been cleared, warning that any vessel laying mines again will be attacked. Despite this uncertain situation in the Strait of Hormuz, ship-to-ship oil transfer operations across the Gulf of Oman has increased significantly. Former US diplomats note that the strait is neither fully open nor completely closed as they claim by the US and Iran, with vessels currently navigating close to Omani coastline. Numerous new developments are also taking place at the diplomatic level, with Trump moving to present the nuclear agreement reached with Saudi Arabia to UK's Congress.
The Kilauea volcano roared back into action yesterday, sending lava fountains of up to 150 meters over Hawaii's Big Island.
Footage shows the fire eruption continuing on to today, with molten lava surging from the summit vent and dark streams spreading across the crater floor. Volcanic episode 54 began at around 10:30 a.m. yesterday local time at 8:30 p.m. GMT, with the US Geological Survey team reporting a volcanic plume rising to around 5,200 meters above sea level. Lava was erupting from the north vent at an estimated rate of 200 cubic meters per second during the episode. The eruption remains confined to Halemaumau crater inside the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Kilauea has been erupting episodically at its summit since December 2024, with pauses between bursts of lava fountaining as pressure rebuilds beneath the Halemaumau.
And in your sports news tonight, on the fourth day of the second test between Sri Lanka and India today, Sri Lanka were 229 for the loss of 6 wickets in their second innings at the end of the day's play.
The match is being played at Colombo SSC grounds. At the commencement of the match today, Sri Lanka were 265 for the loss of 8 wickets in their first innings. Sonal Dinusha and Lahiru Kumara were unbeaten at the wicket. Playing an excellent innings, Sonal Dinusha scored his second test century today. He scored a century in the first innings as well. He was out when his personal score was 103. Sri Lanka were all out for 290 in their first innings and started their second innings at 213 runs behind India. Lahiru Dara and Kamil Mishara opened the innings, while Lahiru Dara was out for 3 runs in the opening partnership was 5. Kamil Mishara scored 32. Captain Dhananjay De Silva was out for 23. Kamindu Mendis scoring his 7th half-century in the Test career, added a valuable 55 runs to the total. Youngster Pasimbu Surya Bandara scored his 2nd half-century in the match. It was unfortunate to be out at 92 minus 8 runs for his first Test century. Sonal Dinusha and Keshara Nuantha were unbeaten at the wicket at the end of day's play today. That's it for tonight's English News telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.